Hello everyone. In this video, I'll talk about system settings, why they're needed, how they work, and show you where to find each one. We'll take a closer look at the settings section from our main navigation panel. First, log in as an admin, enter your system, and scroll down a bit to the settings section. When you click it, a list of subsections will appear. This is what I want to go through in detail with you today and explain. And the first subsection is the general subsection. We're already familiar with it, so we'll just quickly go over it. Here we see the main name of our system, the contact person's email, the contact phone number, and the contact person's name. Next, the main settings essential for the system's correct operation are the Google Map API keys, the Google Calendar key, and the ACC key for the Google Calendar API for integration with Google Calendar. This is our Stripe interest rate. These are our SNTP settings for sending emails. And then there are individual settings for privacy policy, time of condition, and custom. Messages from custom scripts in the footer that you might want to add. So you can add your own custom JavaScript scripts here, for example, for online support or an online chat. The next section is Shared Taxi. I explained what this is to you earlier. It's the ability to combine several trips into one, and each passenger who agrees to combine gets a discount. The system automatically finds available passengers based on the criteria you set in this Shared Taxi section. Here you set the criteria like how much time should be before the start of both orders or orders that can be combined. How much time until the end, the distance, the time difference in minutes between them, the distance in kilometers between pickup points, and the maximum distance between drop-off points. The system searches based on these parameters for passengers who need a car around the same time, are nearby, and are going to roughly the same place, either exactly or within a specified range. When all these conditions match, and both passengers agree to a shared ride, the system will suggest they combine their trips and offer them a discount. Discounts are configured here. In the system, you can specify that if two passengers combine, they receive either a percentage discount or a fixed amount off their fare. In our case, if two clients combine, each gets a fixed discount of 15 euros on their trip. If three clients combine, each receives a 20 euro discount. If four passengers combine, each gets a 25 euro discount, and so on. The system also considers picking up a client along the way. If the first client's route passes by the second and both agree to share, the system accounts for this and can pick up the second passenger. All of this is set up here in the Share Taxi section, where you configure limits and discounts, section companies. Here you can set up your reward and penalty system. If a company driver, and thus the company, gets a negative review, you can set many hours they can't take new orders as a penalty. If the company, your partner, gets a positive review, you can specify a reward for them. In this case, the company becomes a priority for 1 hour. This means your partner will receive orders when you have automatic assignment and settlement in the system. They will receive the order first as a priority. In automatic order distribution, the system sends orders first to priority companies, your priority partners. If these partners refuse the order, don't take it, or can't take it, after the allocated time, the system offers the order to other suitable partners. This option makes the company with a good review a priority for 1 hour. If you don't want to use the reward punishment system, just leave the fields empty. That is, don't enter anything in them. The next section is custom prices. Custom prices are the price limits set by your taxi partners in the company prices section. As I mentioned, our system supports two types of trip cost calculations. The first type is based on the cost set by the administrator for each vehicle. The second type is based on prices specified in special divisions in special countries, based on prices set by taxi companies, your partners. This means your partners, the taxi companies, enter some data, that is, they set their prices. And you can limit them, meaning you can say the max price per kilometer can't exceed €7. And the max price per minute of travel can't exceed €3 or zero point 0.2 euros, for example. Here you can set limits for them that they won't be able to exceed. The next section is mobile apps. Sorry, again in the custom price section. If you don't want to set any limits, you just set it to 0 here. It's already indicated here that 0 means no limits. The next section is mobile apps. In mobile apps, you can upload, set, and save links to your mobile apps, both for the client and the driver. Then, in the client's account, you'll see two banners. Download the app for Android and download the app for iOS. The next section is the review section. Here you can configure a pop-up. With extra services where users, your clients, can leave their reviews. For example, our system asks the user to leave a review within our system after completing an order. And if the review is positive, meaning more than 4 stars, the system can also ask them to leave a review on your other social pages like Google Business, Trustpilot, Facebook, or elsewhere. And this pop-up can be set up right here in the settings under Reviews. For example, I set up Google Review. I created a new order for my user. Order ID 25. Let's try to complete it to show you clearly. Here is my order. It is already assigned to my company. I want to accept it on behalf of the company. I want to accept it on behalf of the company. Let's complete it right away. Here is order 25. We will immediately say it is completed. Order completed. Now, when the user enters this order, we see that this block has opened. Previously, it was locked and I couldn't leave comments. But now, after the order is completed, the system sent the user a thank you email with a request to rate the trip. The email contains a link to their order. When they go to their order and scroll down, they see this block with the option to add their comment. Let's add a comment, rate our trip, and give it 5 stars. And you see, after we gave a positive result, the system offers us another pop-up for an additional review on Google Review. You can edit this text through translations as you wish. There can be any logos, any links, and so on. Let's see how to set it up again. Here you give the name of the service. Here you specify the URL of your Google business page or Transpivot or elsewhere. Here you upload the logo and specify its width. I specified 300. It can be 150 because as we see, the logo is quite large. It can be made half the size, so you can specify 150. Now after saving, it will disappear and won't appear again because I already gave my review. It only appears on the first submission of a review. And also, I remind you that if the review is negative, say 3 stars, the pop-up will not appear. The system determines whether the review is positive or negative. If the review is negative, there's no need to send it to our additional page to leave another negative review. If the review is positive and on our other pages. Let's return to the admin dashboard. The next section is the booking section. I have a separate detailed video about it, so I won't describe it. It is already described in detail in a separate video. Therefore, I will not cover this section in detail in this video. The next subsection is localization. Here you can manage the available languages of the system. You can disable or enable a language in the system, making it available for translations, and you can select it here to translate the entire system. And the last section is the company menu. The company menu is displayed exclusively in the personal accounts of taxi companies, that is, your partners. Here you can provide useful information for them, such as a link to documentation, video guides, or a contact form, and so on. This is just for new taxi companies, you add, who don't know how everything is set up. So they don't ask you questions repeatedly. They can easily go through the adaptation period and get familiar with the platform. You can use this additional menu to provide them with some documentation. In principle, you can use it however you want. It's arbitrary. You can give it any name. In my example, I named it Help Center and added 3 links, one to documentation, video guides, and a contact form. You can use anything here. Now I'll show you how it looks in the company's profile. Well, here we are in the taxi company's profile, your partner's profile. And as I said, at the top right corner, they have access to an additional menu named Help Center. When you click on it, here are our sections. Documentation, video guides, video lessons, yes, of sorts, and a link for feedback with you. Well, that's basically it. We have thoroughly reviewed the settings section in our system and went through each one in detail.